My work primarily, at a very high level, sort of deals with technology and communication, and I think that we're at an age where so much of the way that we sort of relate to the world and relate to each other is shifting really rapidly through all sorts of tools, mobile phones, the internet, just tons of technology, both for individual consumers and then also for the ways that institutions deal with each other, the ways that, politics is run, the ways that governments function. And I like sort of using these technologies to then sort of explore their impacts and explore the various repercussions that, these changes have.
One of the things that he talked about in his studio visit was the relationship between the history of technology and his relationship to 8-bit game design. And he really wants to talk about things that started in the era of the 8-bit game and that are still relevant today.
For my Spotlight project, I'm doing a series of probably 3 sort of different arcade games, and each of them is sort of dealing with a kind of contemporary sort of social and political issue. They're all dealing with the ways in which certain aspects of contemporary life, maybe people don't think about them, or there are these possibly unsavory aspects of sort of contemporary American life that it's really easy to ignore or to sort of, compartmentalize and just not address. And I think that video games and sort of arcade games offer an interesting way to talk about that, because you really involve people and you use the fact that games are sort of compelling just by design. Using the video game form and setting it up so that whether or not you think that that's sort of how society should be operating, you feel compelled to do that. You have to, just because it's a game, you have to play through all of that. And you need to sort of perform that role. And I think that that offers a lot of potential for satire.
He's working in this video game medium, which seems playful, seems, very accessible. But at the same time, he's taking on these themes that are not simple and are not, that are in fact pretty complicated and hard to talk about. But I think that he's able to make this connection in a very kind of clean and an interesting way.
Part of my motivation in using this era of video games is to capitalize on the fact that these are the sorts of games that are designed for kind of casual use and designed for people to just approach them and use them. And then through that, I think that the process of then kind of working through some of the sort of conceptual territory behind the games will be a slower process, and maybe some of that will be more clear to not the person playing, but the person, watching them play.
His ability to use technology as a sort of intertextual way to talk about technology and to think through questions about labor and about warfare and about capital that are really big and complex and usually vaguely depressing, and make it into this really fun game. There's a sort of conceptual move there that's really effective and nice, and it really sort of integrates the way that play and the real world connect.
First and foremost, I want the games to work as arcade games. So it has, the buttons and the controls and the 8-bit graphics, all of the things that sort of visually associate us immediately with that era of games. And so they'll be pretty easy to learn. You get in and it's immediately sort of, throws you in and kind of starts out easy and ramps up the difficulty.
you can make really elaborate and interesting games, but you know, a lot of those choices are made for aesthetics, or they're made, you know, just to make a really immersive experience. But I think he's really making choices that highlight the concept, and you know, that's why he's in an art show.